Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing well and you've had a great week thus far. Um, Today, I wanted to talk about something that actually came up within a conversation I was having with a very close relative of mine, a family member. And this is something I've been hearing a lot more as of late from other people in my life. People with whom I was catching up with, and we were um, taking each other's recent updates, life changes, and whatnot. And this word came up a couple of times, and I couldn't really unnotice it, and it made me think quite a lot. And in today's subject, this is something that I want to share with you about, and how I kind of see this trait, this quality, whatever you want to call it, how I view it, and the kind of mindset shifts and tips and tricks about how I try to embody this quality within my life. So, I wanted to talk about being brave, bravery, or courage. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to use the word bravery or brave. And, it's. How can I start this? Well, let's kind of rewind back to when a human being is a child. And, you know, we navigate through life without overthinking things or over questioning ourselves or other people or worry about what people will or might say, do, or think about ourselves, like as an individual or others. Um, and as a kid, I guess I was embodying bravery in a way that kind of I thought like I was invincible, if that makes sense. um, I wouldn't really think about like the consequences of things like when I would act upon like some sort of like idea or spontaneous kind of actions or whatever. Like when I was a kid, I don't know about every like child on this planet Earth, but as for me personally, that's it. I wouldn't really kind of overthink or question myself about what like would be the positive or negative consequences of my actions. I would just do it. Like I would, you know, as a kid, I would just leave the house, go to my neighbor's house, and go in the garden and grab some fruits and veggies and just eat it away. Or like I would completely, separate myself from my mother or my father, like at a grocery store, running errands or whatever, and I would just like walk around, get out of the store even, and just do what I want to do, and like that would be it. Like these are extreme cases, and they don't essentially like embody the the quality of bravery per se, but I think like it plays a major it's going like to really impact like one human being when they're a child, like just taking the fact that one person is not going to overthink like the consequences, like good or bad, if that makes sense. So anywho, I just want to kind of touch base on the subject of bravery because like personally, as for myself, it is something that I admire even like more and more as I see other people embody this quality, and it inspires me to be more brave in my life. And you know again, like as you grow older and more mature as an adult, as a young adult, or again, as a human being in general, it gets harder and harder to practice this trait or this quality again, because we become more self-aware and conscious, and the brain develops, and it becomes like more dynamic in terms of thinking of one's like ultimate eventual consequences, again, good or bad. So you know without further ado, I'll just jump into the tips and tricks and mindset shifts that has so far helped me to embody the quality of being brave, or again, trying to be as brave as you can. So here it goes. For me, something that helps me to embody the trait of bravery is to think about the consequence or consequences of actually embodying the opposite of bravery. For me, it's fear, or another synonymous word. I think I said it right, but yeah, synonymous word is cowardness, and there was another word actually: cowardness, fear, and anyways, I can't really remember as of right now, but if it pops back in, then I'll mention it. But so yeah, thinking about the consequences of embodying the reverse or the opposite of bravery. So, being governed and overpowered and controlled by fear or cowardness is something that is really kind of daunting, like internally in my spirit, in my heart, in my mind. Personally, I don't want to be perceived or considered as a person who was a coward or who is a coward. There's no merit, there's no pride, there's nothing to be confident about being a coward or being governed and overpowered by fear, in my personal opinion. Because it is so easy to settle for these for those feelings, and for those like internal, I call them personally like internal demons. Like every human being has this internal demon to deal with, because again, like we all go through circumstances and events that traumatizes us, but it's like, if you want to become the best version of yourself, like in my opinion, you have to combat each and every one of these demons that erupts within different situations or circumstances. And it doesn't inspire ourselves, it doesn't inspire others to become like the best version of themselves if we do not like preach this quality, not by only like verbally, but by action, proving it by actual like physical effort and trials. So I think we've all had this one person in our life, that we've witnessed from close or from afar that has like embodied this this negative trait of cowardice or fear. And personally, I did have this kind of person in my life where, you know, I was observing this human being, this person, kind of letting these internal demons, like, overpower them and control them. And it only brought misery and shame and disappointment within themselves, and a lot of resentment and anger, and some sort of like boost of ego. Um, and, I thought to myself, like, do I want to be like this person? Do I want to, make the same mistakes and, follow the same like life pattern or patterns as this person, internally and externally? Because like whatever happens like from within is going to be direct like reflection, within the external world, within the external reality, in real life. So I thought to myself, do I want to be like this person or not? And it was very clear to me that, in order to not be, most of the time in my life, a coward and governed by fear, well, I have to do the opposite of what this person is doing, So if this person is embodying fear and, low self-esteem and low confidence, then I have to do the opposite. I have to be brave. I have to be disciplined, and I have to be faithful within myself, within my capabilities, with others, but most importantly, in my opinion, with God, because by the grace and spirit of God, in my opinion, He will grant you this character trait, and He will guide you into within your personal quest of becoming the best version of yourself and to embody bravery and courage. So, I mean, maybe you're at a point in your life where you've kind of noticed these sorts of people, or a specific person in your life where they don't embody this sense of bravery, but on the opposite end, cowardice and fear. And you can actually recognize the patterns that that this person is kind of getting themselves into, and the actual like eventual consequences, like immediate or long term. And it becomes like a lesson that you that you can learn without like personal like personal experience, if that makes sense. You learn by other people's like trials and lessons and mistakes and errors. So it's kind of it's very unfortunate, of course, like for this person to go through this, but as an external kind of player, if that makes sense, then you can benefit from this experience, and again, take notes and take a lesson from it. So number one, that's it. It's to think about the consequences of embodying the opposite of bravery. So that's it. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I want to I don't want to be like everyone else. I don't want to be like the average person. Not that being average is like bad per se, but I mean, you're not going to make the world like a better place if you are going to settle for being average, because being average requires you to kind of to settle for what is the norm, what are the kind of unnecessary like status quos of doing what is easy. Basically it you have no grit, you don't for like in my opinion, you don't like strengthen your spine and your core values, and you, and again, like in my opinion, you don't evolve as a human being, as a person, and you are not necessarily, I think, contributing to the overall well-being of society and yourself, and the cosmos of the spiritual realm with God and his angels and whatnot. So like for me, I've been claimed as being brave as of late, but again, like bravery is like a muscle. You have to embody it like every day and in your everyday decisions and your everyday you know tasks and quests, if that makes sense. So that's why I'm actually embarking on this creative, like entrepreneurial journey with my creativity and my passions, because I mean, it's so easy. It's so easy for me to settle for what feels safe and what feels like the norm here where I live. And there's this nagging feeling inside of me that tells me like, no, like you as a human being, like as like the person that I am, I know I'm unique. I can contribute and give so much to this world, and I want to try, like at least try, make it work, because if there's a will, there's a way, and I know I have a lot of potential in terms of my creativity, what's in my brain, what's in my heart, what's in my spirit, what God gave me, and what my parents gave me, and my support system. I don't want to let people down, and I know I have to be brave for the people that are close to me in my life, and I have to be brave as well for the people whom I want to help and create a positive impact in this world. And I kind of internally cringe a little bit because it sounds so cheesy, and everybody wants to kind of be the hero of every single human being in this world, but I don't really want to be like a hero. Like, of course, don't get me wrong, like I I don't like having so much attention, and being in big crowds of people really makes me like anxious. But that's the thing, like for me, that would be like settling for what is safe and average, and dare I say, like quite mediocre. And again, this is not who I want to be. Like, if you want to become like someone or something, you have to go for it. Like, you're not going to be like born and granted with all of these qualities like all at once. Life is a game, and I believe life is a journey where you have to forge yourself to become the person that you want to be. You're not like born as you wish, and you just enjoy life, and it's all like rainbows and sunshines and unicorns and like sweets and lollies, and it doesn't exist. Life actually builds you up. You have to take the bull by the horns and just go for it and forge your character, forge your identity into the person that you want to be and that God wants you to be. So that was my spiel, my spiel on point number one. It is thinking about the opposite, about not being brave. Where it's going to bring you. What are the consequences, that it will bring to you eventually, sooner or later. So, choose your hard. You've got to choose your hard. You either suffer for being average and mediocre, or you suffer for being the best version of yourself, which is going to be like an amazing journey and something so internally rewarding, and you're going to feel so proud of yourself, and you're going to feel so much more better and confident, and have a higher self-esteem within your capabilities and your overall character again. And it's only going to bring the best out of you, and it is positively going to impact the people around you. So that's what it is. Point number 2, which is like kind of very similar actually to point number 1, it is to think about the consequences of being brave. Again, like I said, choose your heart, because being brave doesn't feel good like in the moment. But it is a short-term sacrifice for a long-term gain, long-term benefits, if you will, like, because in the moment it is to kind of face your fears. When you have to, like, for instance, I'll try to bring like a scenario, give you like set you like a scene for a moment. Imagine yourself like you are a kid in elementary school or high school where you witness like a kid being bullied, like physically, very, very badly, physical harm and whatnot, being stolen about something or whatever. Like, in the moment, like, by witnessing the scene that this is not right, staying silent, being aware and conscious of what's happening and deciding to, like, back off because of fear, because you're afraid of, like, risking your own life or, being judged or screamed at or, again, like, physically harmed as well or whatever. Like, that would be settling for average, like, mediocreness, fear, which is not a good thing. Again, in my personal opinion, you might disagree with me, but this is not how I want to live my life. This is not in my rule book. So, and your conscience is going to really nag you into, like, doing what is right. Your heart is going to tell you that ignoring the situation is wrong. So in the moment, like, fate, taking the bull by the horns and stepping up and being of help, genuine help to this poor kid, like, being physically abused, bullied, it's not going to feel good, like, or comfortable. I would say comfortable, like, initially, but once you're in it, you're going to feel this sense of, like, ownership and power and good will, like, inherently good, like, intentions, and you're going to feel like you're doing something right. So, and your brain, your mind, again, like I mentioned in one of my previous video, your brain is wired to keep you safe and secure, for survival instinct, like, purposes, of course. So worst case scenario is these kids are also going to bully you. They're also going to judge you. They're going to mock you. They're going to, call you names, whatever, like, but there's always a solution. You cannot care and be like, well, you know what? I don't care. Like, this poor kid didn't deserve, like, being harmed, I'm pretty sure. So you better leave him alone. And, you might be actually very surprised. Like, a lot of people and a lot of kids who are bullies, they're actually just projecting their own weaknesses and insecurities. So, and if nobody tells them that what they're doing is wrong, and if nobody steps up to, take defense and, make them stop, they're not going to stop, of course. So, it only takes one to kind of get the gears, like, to move it, like, within another direction, if you know what I mean. So, you might be very surprised. Maybe this kid, like in this hypothetical scenario, is going to be shocked, and he's going to feel like shame, and he's going to go away and, not do it again because you decided to step up and be the grown up, be the stronger person. And it might just kind of flash by you by the blink of an eye, and it's going to, by the end of like this scene, this scenario, it's going to be done. And you're going to be like, really? It was that easy? Like, you might be shocked. And again, you're going to feel proud of yourself. It's going to boost your self-esteem and your confidence. And, if you can do it once, you bet you can do it twice. And again, that's in anything in life, good and or bad. So, but that's it. Like, thinking about the positive consequences of being brave is that you're going to grow and amplify and level up your levels of self-esteem, your confidence, and faith within like yourself and others. So this is one of the perks of how to become or embrace more this character, this trait of bravery in your life. It is to thinking about the positive consequences of embodying this quality, the positive impacts that it's going to create in the short term and in the long term run. So, and it's going to forge your character, and people will respect you, and because you will respect yourself by respecting your internal consciousness and this internal voice of, telling you what to do or what to not do. So yeah, there it is. Number 3, in order to embody bravery, you have to set a strong foundation of values and life principles to, embody this trait. So like a way to find, to set a strong foundation within like yourself to live a purposeful and meaningful and organized life as you grow older into an adult. It is to find like either people that embody this trait already, like repetitively in their life, or to read books. So like as a person who believes in a creator, in God, for me, the Bible is a very potent and paramount book, in my opinion, to forge your identity and to set like a strong foundation of life principles and internal and external values and morals to guide you in your life. So view like this physical like thing, whether you want to use the Bible or whatever like other spiritual books or philosophy or whatever, like try to view this this objective or this thing like as a compass. If you want to find your north to, go to a certain location or whatever, you need a good, well-functioning compass to bring you to where you want to go. Like, so again, the Bible is an example. There's a whole bunch of spiritual or personal development books out there to guide you and to, kind of forge your character and your identity to build this strong foundation of life values and principles to apply in your life. So that is like one example. So via reading books, or again, like finding or being in, surrounding yourself with people who inspire you, who already has achieved the things that you want to achieve, like whether it's physical, like material, spiritual, whatever, like relationships and whatnot, or whether again it is like spiritual and internal in your internal reality within your mind, heart, spirit, and whatnot. So whether it's through YouTube, with like electronic technology, or within your local community, in your city, or village, in the countryside, whatever, like career, and so on and so forth. So actually, that's it. Like hanging out with people who, or being constantly surrounded by people who embody the energy and the trait of bravery, for instance, it is going to impact you and it's going to influence you to also more easily embody this trait, because we as human beings, our brain and our mind and our spirit are like sponges. We absorb like everything that we're surrounded by, internally, externally, and it's going to affect your like the subconscious part of your brain and the conscious part of your brain, and it's going to feel more like natural and easy because you're going to settle for like whichever environment you are putting yourself into. Again, positive or negative, whether it's increasing your self-growth or decreasing, you will absorb this external or internal influence, impact within your life. So yeah, this is something that has really helped me, especially during my teenage years. I became the person that I am today because I would surround myself with people who were wiser, more life experienced, and more mature than me. So I became more mature and more I don't want to say like I was 100% wise, because I don't think everybody is 100% wise, but for a 14, 15, 16-year-old teenage girl, I was I think I was pretty advanced to a certain extent, so yeah, I mean, you have to put yourself in situations where people already embody this character trait that you want to apply in your life. So there it is. And lastly, a way that you can embody courage in your life, it is to pray God to help you be or become more brave. Whether it's like in a current like situation that you're living right now, positive or negative, whether it's a challenge, like, or a well, usually it's when you ask for bravery or courage, it's because you're facing something that is internally or externally difficult, like emotionally. So asking God to reinforce and for him to give you his infinite strength and courage and spirit to, give it just a little bit, just a tiny bit in your life, so that you can kind of use this trait into your life, and to give you, the drive and the motivation and the inspiration to do it, because God is infinite and so, great and grand within his infinite existence, if that makes sense. He can absolutely provide you his power and his strength to you, if you're open and willing to it, if you're open to him letting you to guide you. So this is something that has really helped me in some very, very stressful or intense challenges and moments in my life was to kind of do this short prayer, like, okay, God, like you pray like internally within your mind for God, like, okay, God, please, like, I'm really struggling with this right now. Please give me your strength. Please give me your like courage to make me brave. Like, I want to be brave. God, please make me brave. It really has to be like super short and, instantaneous. And just doing this one action, this one little thing, and you just go for it. And this is how you embody bravery. This is how I've embodied like moments of being brave. It's by this short little, like, these short seconds of internal prayer, of spiritual like intimacy and, privacy with God, where I would just decide to go for it. Like, okay, I'm going to be brave because I asked God to be brave, and I know He will grant me this sense of ownership and power by being in action, by doing it. So, praying is really a very strong and potent source of like power, again, if that makes sense, in my personal opinion and experience. Like, in the hardest moments in my life, again, like I've briefly mentioned that I suffered from anorexia when I was a teenage, like end of my teenage years, which is something that I will eventually talk about. I asked God to help me be brave and courageous and, to help me face my demons and my fears, and because I wanted to make my life better, and I wanted to stop like hurting myself and hurting the people around me, but for me, because I was at some point forced of, healing quicker than my actual time, the timing of God and my personal timing. I was pushed, but I was always resisting it until I chose to, it came to my awareness and, my personal awareness to make this conscious decision for myself. So, that's one instance, like an example where asking for God for Him to give me like His, like, only a little percentage of His courage, like to hand it over to me and for me to be brave and face my fears and face certain challenges. This is something that has really helped me to conquer my demons and, change my life around. So that's it. In the moments where you need it the most, ask for God to give Him his strength, His courage, so that you can be not led by fear, but led by faith and hope, because this is the only recipe for you to live your best life and be the best version of yourself. Yeah, it sounds kind of corny, again, cheesy, but it is true. It has really helped me thus far. And again, it comes in waves, comes and goes, and you will inevitably settle for, not being the most brave or courageous version of yourself, but just know that it is all within your power, and you can change at any moment, and you can embody the sense of bravery and courage whenever you need to. It's your life, it's your life force, it's your power. You can do whatever you want, and if you, again, set your mind to it, if there's a will, there's a way, and you will not regret it. You're only going to regret it if you settling down for fear and cowardness and insecurity and fear of judgment, fear of hurting your ego, basically. So, yeah, this is the only points that came to my mind as of right now in terms of bravery. But I hope it helped. And, in this personal journey of mine of filming and, kind of recording, this journey of mine of, creating this life of mastery and in the world of creativity and entrepreneurship and positive impact. How can I say this? I know I'm not going to regret it, basically. And being brave is only going to make me feel better within myself and, create this impact for, like, in terms of, like, towards the people that are close to me in my life. So, anyways, I'm kind of digressing right now. It's getting kind of late. I don't know what time it is. It must be like 10 something. And I'm not a late night person. I like to go to bed early, so my brain is kind of failing on me. So I will wrap up this video here. But let me know what you thought. And if there's a certain subject or point that you would like me to elaborate or revise or reiterate, if I was not clear with something, just again, let me know. It's going to be a pleasure to open up and develop about, this subject. And yeah. So I hope this was helpful. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video next Friday. So yeah, thanks for watching and have a nice rest of your week, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.